Today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. Betonline.ag will take care of all of your gambling needs all NFL season long. What you do, head over to betonline.ag today. Use our promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV. You can see that on your screen right now. You'll receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, cue the music. It's time to start the show. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers show. I'm Mark Bergin, reacting to the Steelers' 37-30 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 11 of the 2022 NFL season. Steelers now fall to 3-7. The Bengals at 6-4. And I thought it was a tale of two halves. Kenny Pickett, for as well as he played in the first half, and the Steelers had a lead 20-17 at halftime, did not play well in the second half. And I don't care what the final stats show. It came up in mop-up duty, considering the Bengals at the end of the game are up 2 scores. They're playing soft zone coverage, allowing everything underneath, and the Steelers simply ran out of time in this one. Now, I had this right, in that the Steelers, I thought, needed to stop Joe Mixon. I just had the wrong player. It was his teammate, fellow running back, Samaje Perine, scoring 3 touchdowns out of the backfield on 4 receptions. The Steelers could not stop Perine in coverage, and time again, he gashed the Steelers in the flats. That was something I noticed where it was just like, all right, fool me once, but then it happens again and again and again. Perine getting into the end zone 3 times today for the Bengals. Now, Joe Burrow, I think, played about as well of a game as he could have, considering in the first game he got sacked 7 times, and the Bengals in the Week 1 game when the Steelers won in overtime in Cincinnati, Steelers turned the Bengals over 5 times in that one. Now, the 2 interceptions Burrow threw today, I really don't think were his fault. Robert Spillane tipping a pass, and it leads to a Levi Wallace interception in the first half. And then in the second half, TJ Watt making a play at the line of scrimmage. That was one of the best interceptions you will ever see. And it was very reminiscent of a similar interception he had against Burrow in Week 1. So you see what a game breaker TJ Watt is yet again. And the Steelers aren't able to capitalize. They only get a field goal after TJ Watt flips the field. That was a huge play. And how about the Steelers defense gets a 3-and-out deep in the Bengals territory, and the Steelers then go 3-and-out on the next position in that 3rd and 25 play where the Steelers ran a draw. They get the ball to the Bengals 47, and they're forced to punt. To me, that was really the game right there, because the Steelers defense comes out hot. They get good field position, and the offense wasn't able to take advantage. Now, again, Pickett, I thought, played extremely well in the first half, and the Steelers had the lead going into halftime. I don't care what the final stats show, because on that final Steelers offensive drive, Steelers able to get a lot of yardage in garbage time, where the Bengals are playing a soft zone coverage, not allowing anything to get beat deep, considering the Bengals at that point had a 2-possession game. So that, to me, I thought Najee Harris played pretty well again in back-to-back weeks. We saw Air Najee again, jumping through the air, scoring touchdowns. He had 90 yards on the ground for the Steelers on 20 carries, 2 touchdowns for Najee. I thought he played well again. Jaylen Warren left this game with an injury. Miles Boykin, Mason Cole also left the games with injuries. We'll see on that severity. I think George Pickens played well in this game for the Steelers. He had 4 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Had a drop at the end of the game. Now, it probably wouldn't have mattered because the Steelers didn't recover the onside kick anyways. And I think maybe he was frustrated dropping what should have been his second touchdown pass of the game. He got behind the Bengals secondary. And on that onside kick, I'm really not sure what he's doing. I'm all for playing physical, trying to make a play, trying to get the ball back and muster a comeback. But that was just a stupid play. I would not be surprised if he is fined this week. And he was flagged for unnecessary roughness, and he got ejected from the game. Just a stupid play. I know that he's probably frustrated, and the Steelers weren't going to get the ball back with no timeouts left, and the Bengals need it twice, and they win in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. So I really don't know what he was doing there. I want to go back to Burrow for really quickly. The 2 interceptions, again, I don't think were his fault at all. I just think they were great plays by the Steelers. And Spillane tipping the pass on a stunt and leading to Levi Wallace's interception shows you what pressure can do when you get pressure up front. And other than those 2 picks, I think Burrow played extremely well. Remember, Jamar Chase wasn't playing today, his number 1 target. T. Higgins, the Steelers could not stop. Higgins had 9 catches for 148 yards this afternoon. And Burrow has only thrown interceptions against the AFC North this year. No other interceptions in the 6 games outside of the division this year. So I think Burrow is the 3rd fastest player to 10,000 yards ever. He played extremely well today. And the Steelers just couldn't stop it. They just could not stop it. And I know the defense has been vaunted, but 37 points, it's like for once the offense actually kind of held up its end of the bargain. Now, I say that considering the Steelers offense did not play well in the second half. I know it shows 10 points on the scoreboard, but it was really like 3 because, again, a garbage time touchdown that really isn't going to matter. And even if the Steelers get the ball after the onside kick, you've got to go the length of the field to score a touchdown with no timeouts left and less than a minute left in the game. Even if the Steelers get the onside kick, they are still facing an uphill battle, considering they had no timeouts either. Again, TJ Watt, the TJ Watt effect is incredible. The Steelers have 9 sacks against the Bengals in the 2 games against Cincinnati this season. Only 10 total sacks against other teams that they've played. So that shows you the TJ Watt effect. Again, only getting 3 points after the TJ Watt interception when he flips the field. And then the 3 and out in the 4th quarter, and the defense comes out on fire. The fans are going nuts at Acrisure Stadium. They're playing Renegade. And the Steelers go 3 and out in that 3rd and 25 because of 2 penalties. And you run a draw play to Najee Harris, and the fans weren't happy, and the drive stalls at the Cincinnati 47. You've got to take advantage. You at least have to get 3 points there. Point blank period, you have to get 3 points there at least. And the Steelers drive stalled there. And that's just what I saw. Matthew Wright, I was very critical of him a week ago when he missed 2 field goals against the Saints. Matthew Wright went 3 of 3 on his field goals today. I thought he did a nice job redeeming himself. One thing I noticed too is that the weather in Pittsburgh today, none of the kickoffs were getting to the end zone. Shows you how cold it was in Pittsburgh today. It's that time of year now that we're into late November. And the field is all ripped up too. For Matthew Wright to make all 3 of his field goals, I tip my cap because I was very critical of him a week ago, and hopefully he can continue to play well in Chris Boswell's absence. Chris Boswell, remember, not playing because he has a groin injury. Now, Evan McPherson making a 54-yard field goal in those conditions today is absolutely incredible. I'm talking about the Bengals kicker there. 54-yard field goal in Pittsburgh in late November. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the other team. A 54-yarder from McPherson. Extremely, extremely impressive. But again, I just felt like other than that final drive where the Steelers, their stats look better than they actually were. This was a tale of 2 halves to me. I was ready to compare the first half stats to the second half stats, but Steelers able to move the ball a little bit to cut it to a 1-score game. I like that they kept fighting, but it was too little too late at that point. It was too little too late at that point. And I can't help but wonder, how much different is this game if Jamar Chase is playing for the Cincinnati Bengals today? I can't help but wonder that. If Jamar Chase suits up for Cincinnati today, are you talking about an even bigger deficit? And look, I know that going into the year, if you're a Steelers fan, you'd probably say, hey, we're splitting the season series with the team that represented the AFC in the Super Bowl a year ago. That's pretty good. But each season isn't the same. And I thought the Steelers had an opportunity to win today. I really did. And just how poorly they played in the second half to where you could only muster 3 points. Where were the adjustments to the adjustments? And now I'm going to go into Monday morning quarterbacking here. But it was extremely frustrating. It was extremely frustrating. I hope that Jaylen Warren isn't out too long. Again, he left the game along with Miles Boykin and then the starting center, Mason Cole. We'll see how long Jaylen Warren misses, if any. He had a hamstring injury. Boykin had an oblique injury. Mason Cole, let me check on that right now as I pull that up on my computer here. He had a foot injury. So J.C. Hassenauer came in. I know that Benny Snell got some snaps on the offensive side of the ball. He's really been kind of relegated to a special teams role for the Steelers, but that's something I noticed where Boykin and Warren were out. So we'll see what the extent, what the severity of their injuries were. But Warren's been very good in complementing Najee Harris this season. In the opportunities Jaylen Warren has had for an undrafted rookie this season, he's carved out a niche and a role for himself in this offense. I'm going to see that continue. I really want to see that continue with Jaylen Warren in this offense, but hopefully he's okay. Like to see Najee again flying through the air, that first touchdown. I mean, the second one too, to where it's like, you don't see for a lack of fight from Najee's end. 20 carries, 90 yards out of the backfield for Najee Harris today. And if Pickens catches that touchdown pass, his final numbers look even better than they were. Starting to get George Pickens more and more involved. It's the reason why my co-host Ike Taylor calls George Pickens the alien, because he's a special, special talent. Like to see him hang on and catch the ball and not get frustrated at the end. That's just discipline. He'll get better at that as he gets more and more mature in this league. He's still a rookie. And that's the same thing I would say with Kenny Pickett. For people out there that said, oh, well, Kenny Pickett, he's the problem today. Yeah, Kenny Pickett missed passes today. Part of the growing pains of having a rookie quarterback and playing a rookie quarterback. All your growth is not going to be linear for a young quarterback in this league. I do think the opportunity was on the table to beat Cincinnati today. I really do. And I don't think the Steelers took advantage. I really don't. I thought at one point, it's like, all right, here we go. I'm going to flip the switch and it's going to go. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Pat Freiermuth, 8 catches, 79 yards. There were several of them on that final drive. Najee Harris had 4 catches out of the backfield as well, 26 yards. So Najee has more than 100 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns as well. Pickens had that touchdown catch too in the first half. Man, this offense in the first half, it was like, whoa, might be able to withstand a shootout with Joe Burrow. A little bit of wishful thinking there. The offense in the second half, again, 10 on the scoreboard. It's really like 3, because late in the game, Cincinnati's coverage, they're playing a soft zone. They're letting everything go and keep everything in front of them. That's what the defense is instructed to do late in the game when time is of the essence. Time was the Steelers' enemy late in that game. But it was that sequence where you only get 3 from TJ Watt's interception. You get a 3 and out. Fans are going nuts. They play renegade. You get the punt. Your offense goes 3 and out, and your drive stalls at the Cincinnati 47. You punt it back, and you had the field position right then and there. That's, to me, where this game was lost today. And you got to be better. Back-to-back penalties. I know the fans were frustrated on the 3rd and 25 call and saying throw the ball, but 3rd down and 25, what are you supposed to do there? Just chuck it up to George Pickens and hope for the best, hope for a pass interference penalty? It's wishful thinking, in all honesty. It's wishful thinking to think that you would have had success on 3rd and 25. And it's where Kenny Pickett's got to get better at. And even late in the game on that final drive where the Steelers scored, that catch Gunnar Olszewski had, right, where he nearly scored and got down by the 1, set up Najee Harris' 2nd touchdown of the game. That pass should have been intercepted. I mean, no question about it. Man, the opportunity was there today, and that's what makes this all the more frustrating. So the Steelers, 3-7, looks like they're going to get a better draft pick. And if they lose 2 more, the Steelers, it will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season in his 16-year career coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Chicago Bears also lost their 3rd consecutive game since trading for Chase Claypool, meaning if the season ended today right now, the Bears would have like the 2nd pick in the draft, maybe the 3rd pick. It'd be a top 5 pick. And the Steelers, they have the 33rd pick in the draft in addition to their own number 1 after the trade with the Bears. So the Steelers get better and better draft picks. They're going to have 3 picks within the top 50, it looks like right now. We'll see how low those picks go. And I'm not saying that the Steelers should tank. You don't want to foster a losing culture, but you got to restock the cupboard today. One thing I noticed with Pickett as well, and he was only sacked twice, but the 2 tackles could not block the Cincinnati Bengals edge rushers. Pickett was run for his life many times in today's game, and the 2 edge rushers for the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, one of them, Need to look up who the other one is. But to me, just looking off the edge, Steelers couldn't hang their tackles. The Steelers tackles couldn't hang in this one. There's a lot of things that you could go cornerback to upgrade. You could obviously upgrade the offensive line. I do think the Steelers have been running the ball better since the bye week. But they only finished today. Steelers had more than 200 yards rushing today. Najee had 90, which is great. Only 102 rushing yards. Now, at half of this game, the Steelers had 71 rushing yards at halftime. So that just goes to show you, it's like tale of two halves. That stat, if I could show you two stats, because once the Steelers are facing a deficit, you have to abandon the run game because you don't have time of possession. You don't have the clock to work with. Time's your enemy at that point. The opportunity was there today. Steelers now 2-1 since the Pigeons were there. I saw the Pigeons pregame, and I'm like, oh, man, here we go. Steelers got this. The Pigeons are here, and they're going to protect home field at Acrisure Stadium. Didn't happen. It did not happen. I would have loved to say 3-0, and then let's just bring the Pigeons everywhere. That seems to be over, and that was fun with the fans. We had fun with that last week. When the Pigeons show up, the Steelers typically win. It did not happen today, but couldn't stop Perine out of the backfield. Again, Joe Burrow, he's as good as there is in this league. There's a reason why he took this team to the Super Bowl a year ago, and he's going to get paid. When the Bengals need to come to terms and Burrow's rookie contract is up, he is going to get paid. He's as good as there is as a quarterback in this league. Calm demeanor, too. Sacked twice, and even on that TJ Watt interception, it's like, how the heck did TJ Watt make this play again? And he's a game wrecker. TJ Watt, that play kept the Steelers in this game today. But Joe Burrow, even without Jamar Chase, still a scary, scary dude. And other than those two interceptions, which I don't think were his fault, it's just great play by the Steelers defense, I think Burrow played about as well as he could have today. You look at the final stats for Burrow, 24-39, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 sacks. Gave his team an opportunity to win. And Perine out of the backfield, for whatever reason, the Steelers couldn't stop him. I had it right that the Steelers need to stop a Bengals running back. I just had the wrong one. I said Joe Mixon. Mixon left the game with the concussion. We'll see about the extent of his injury. And the Bengals are going to try to repeat what they did a year ago, where they're essentially in the same spot. And they finished the regular season, I Bleav it was 10-7 last year, and they went on their Super Bowl run. So we'll see if they can do the same thing here moving forward. Now, in Week 12, Steelers are going to be on Monday Night Football against the Indianapolis Colts. Bengals are going to be at the Titans in Week 12. Steelers are going to have to stop Jonathan Taylor. It's pretty simple, and we saw with physicality that the Colts played with today. Very nearly upset the Philadelphia Eagles, mind you. With Jeff Saturday as the interim there, you know what they're going to do. They're going to try to pound the rock, play stout defense, and play ball control football, time of possession. We're going to beat you up at the line of scrimmage. That's the recipe. It's not flashy in 2022, but that's the recipe. And the Colts nearly knocked off the Eagles today. It was a very close game. Nearly knocked off the Eagles today. It's a 1-point game. It's a 1-point game. Now, I know Indy was at home. We'll see. But Monday Night Football in prime time. It'll be interesting to see what kind of Steelers offense shows up. I am seeing a little bit of a progression. Hasn't been as quickly as I'd hoped with the Steelers offense. And I'm going to say this too. I don't think it's enough to save Matt Canada's job. I really don't, because the opportunity was there today, and you see 37 points, and it's like, oh, well, this one's on the defense. The offense played lousy in the second half. And I'm trying to be polite here, but that's just the truth. That's just the truth. If any of you have any other comments, your observations from the game, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Again, my name is Mark Bergin. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Ike Taylor and I are going to be back later this week to preview the Steelers Week 12 matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. Monday Night Football. We'll see. Jonathan Taylor versus Najee Harris. There you go. That's really going to be the key to the game, is which running game is more effective. But we'll have a full breakdown of that. Again, Ike and I will be back later this week to talk all things Pittsburgh Steelers. So keep it here on the Bleav in Steelers show. I hope all of you have a great rest of your weekends and a great start to your Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to all of the listeners and viewers out there as well. Again, my name's Mark Bergin. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care. So long, everyone.